Hi everyone, today I'd like to talk to you about gilding wax. This is just one of the cards that I've created using it, and I'd like to share with you just a few tips of how I've been able to create it and a few tricks that I've picked up along the way. The two pots that I was sent this week are Golden Light. As you can see, there's the small pot, but the wax is going to go an awful long way. The 10mm in size, they've got screw lids. You'll need to keep making sure that you've screwed your lid on and double check, because it will dry up if not. The second colour that I've got is Ultramarine. Now I'm going to have to be honest, I think Ultramarine is my new favourite. As much as I use gold on virtually everything, Ultramarine just is so different and so unusual. It's like a peacocky bluey green. I'm hoping the camera can pick it up. So what I've done is, because the wax is a heat motivated wax basically, you normally dip your fingers into the pot, but as you know I've got quite long nails and I can't get my fingers in the pot to get the wax, so I've been using sponges, and it's the sponge that you get that you cut out, and I've just made tiny little sponges and I use the tip of them, I dip it in and then I put it on that way. So for anybody who doesn't like to dip the fingers in pots, it's an ideal way and solution. So what I've been doing is I've been creating a few different samples to show you the finish and the colour on different coloured card. Now I'm going to start with the white card, because between white and black it looks completely different. This side I've used the ultramarine, this side I've used the gold. This is plain white card, and as you can see I've just literally faded it into the centre, and it does look stunning, but you don't get such a depth of colour as you do on the black. Now the black again makes it look like a completely different colour. I'm hoping the camera can pick this up. So one side I've used the Golden Light and on the other I've used the Ultramarine. So as you can see, plain black cardstock that I've put through in an embossing folder through my Sizzix, just so that you can see the raised pattern and the effect that you get. So the other technique that I actually did was stamping, embossing and then waxing over the top and polishing the wax to remove it from the actual embossing powder, so that you actually get the colour of the card that you've stamped and embossed on. For this one I used plain black card, as you can see, and I stamped on it using the perfect medium, and then I embossed it with clear embossing powder. I put gilding wax all over, I polished it to remove it from the embossed areas, and that's what you're finished with. So that's how I achieved the bauble on the card and the background. So what I'd like to do is just show you the difference on different cards. So that's plain black, and that is the Golden Light on the plain black card. That's the Golden Light on white cardstock. You can see the metallic finish. I've polished them both off so that you get that lovely shine, but you can see the difference in colour. Even though it's the same pot of gilding wax, there's a distinct difference. So here we've got the ultramarine on black and white cardstock, like so. You can see again on the black it's completely different to the white. Just to give you a comparison there's the white. So what I've done, I want to show you how to put it on, and I've got a bauble that I've already stamped with embossing powder and then heated it for the embossing powder. And I'm literally going to do this on wax paper because it's an alcohol based wax. I'm going to use the ultramarine wax. Just going to dip my sponge in like so. Now anybody that dips the finger in will probably use a lot less than myself, but because I'm using the sponge and I like a good finish, I like a good amount on mine, I like it nice and dark, I'm going to use quite a lot to get the coverage. So I'm going to keep rubbing it on, and as you can see I'm just using any old technique to get it on there. It doesn't matter because we're going to buff it after we've got all the colour on, and that will give it its finish and it will also smooth it out. So I'm literally just, I actually do use the blending technique, but you don't have to. You can dab it, you can rub it, you can go in any direction, it really doesn't matter as long as you get the colour on there. So you can see that we've got colour on there. Now one thing that I do like to do is make sure that I do the edges, because I don't really want to have white edges when I'm making my card. So remember, I'm doing this in the ultramarine so that you can pick it up on the camera, the difference, because I think it looked better than doing the black because it was a bit difficult to see. So I'm just going to make sure I've got enough on there like that. Put my lid back on, stop it drying out under the lights, and then I'm going to take a dry paper towel and I'm literally just going to buff the top of the bauble like so, and you should be able to see the shine coming, the difference between the bit I've buffed and the bit I haven't. So I'm going to go all the way around, and as you buff it takes off that layer of wax above the, on where you've embossed basically. So I'll just keep going. I think that's about it. Sometimes you might need a little bit more force behind you, especially doing the gold and the black. That can take quite a bit of rubbing. However, you know, you'll get there in the end. So that's how I achieved the look of the gilding wax with the clear embossing, and that's just on a white card. It's a bit grubby on the back, but it's only because of what it's been sat on. But I literally stamped it with the perfect medium, and then I embossed it with clear embossing powder, and I've gone over it with the ultramarine wax. So that's how I achieved the look with the bauble. When I was using it to show the samples on the embossed card like that, I literally used it, same technique. I've embossed a piece of black card here, so I'm hoping that this is going to pick it up. You can see the pattern, and if I use the gold, I'll only do one corner just to show you the difference. So again, lots on my foam, and if I rub into the corner like so, again make sure you've got plenty on your sponge, so that's picking that little bit up there. Just do that corner so that you can see it, and then it's the same principle. You rub it on and then you buff it like so. You can feel it go smooth as you're buffing it like that. Gives perfect metallic finish, great for matting and layering. So you'd only have to do the edges and the corners between your layers. You're hardly going to use anything. I've used more because I've made so many samples to show you for doing the different things, but I think it is perfect for finishing off the edges of your cards. For different embellishments you might have, you'd be able to tint your brads and put the wax onto those, onto anything that you think will take the wax, rather than just card and paper. If you've got any little paper embellishments, any paper flowers, it would look fab on the petals, on the leaves, on the veins of leaves, anything like that, anything textured. So we'll just go back to the card that I made at the beginning, that I showed you, sorry. So that was the overall look. I've used a just right stamp for the bauble, stamped it, perfect medium, and then used clear embossing powder on black card. So then that's picked up, as I've buffed it, it's removed the wax and left the embossing where I've stamped it. And then the background, again, was a just right background that I stamped, again, same method. And then I just matted it with black card, and it's actually sat on white card. I've tinted the edges, I've used the foam to rub and blend the gold onto the card, and then I went over it with a black ink pad and toned it and blended it and buffed it again so that it all toned in to make that. Added a bow, and that's it. So I really hope you've enjoyed this demonstration for how I've used gilding wax, and I hope it might help you in the future, and I'd like to thank you very much for watching. See you again